Tengo vídeo, pero no todo, ¿no? Vale. Venían de la línea. Sí, son muy bien, o sea, y había como gente que se conoce. Era como un ambiente muy... Yo he dicho que podemos empezar
en la actividad del momento también no sé por qué es por la distancia.
Jaime, front row, come on. Okay, let's start. Okay, Valverde, estamos, o sea, podemos empezar. ¿Vale?
Sí, sí, cuando quiera, Wesam, gracias.
Vale, vamos a empezar. Perfecto. So, you can see the screens, everything is fine. Okay. So, welcome. I will talk a little bit about the occasion in which we have our guest for the lecture today and what is it, under which umbrella it's functioning. And then we will introduce our guest, and then we will hear from Íñigo their talk. Okay, so this is part of a collaboration between our school and the Foro Cerámico from Hispalyt. Hispalyt is an association of everything that has to do with ceramic, bricks, everything that has to do with this material and architecture associated in Spain. And they have different kind of activities that links the industry with architecture. And this is part of these activities, the lecture that happens now, which is also a part of something that's called Foro Cerámico, which are some kind of a sequence of different stuff that they do with universities across all Spain. And our university being here is also part of this constellation, right? And so this is the Foro Cerámico of Hispalyt. So one of the first activities is an open competition that in some universities it's part of a design studio. In our university it is not part of a design studio, but you are welcome to form groups and participate in this competition. It's a competition on the scale of for students. Okay. So each year there is a theme in which they propose a specific program for a specific kind of site, and students send their proposals, and then there's a jury that selects winning projects, honorable mention, just like any other competitions, but it operates for students as well. Under one condition is that you will be using materials that are associated with everything that has to do with ceramics, so bricks and tubes, things that has to do with fired clay, basically. Okay. This year, the theme is an observatory of stars in a park in Cáceres, Monumento Natural de los Marruecos. So if you are interested in doing that as a competition, in addition to your design studio, please reach out to me because I'm the coordinator of these activities, and I can, talk with you about the possibilities of when you want to present your projects, etc. Okay. So this is the conditions. It's free for free. You don't have to pay for inscriptions, and you need to have 3 people maximum in your group work. Okay. So first we have a kind of within the school phase local, within the school kind of selections, and then we have a national selections, and then from there we go for the main kind of prize. You can get 3,000 euros. This 2 mentions, each of them is 1,000 euros. Okay. Again, if you need any more information on this, or if you are you want to submit, please let me know. And the submission is by July. Okay, so it's also after school. Those are the universities participating in the project, in this competition kind of consortium, and as you can see, our universities there. And those will be the juries for our competition. And there is another kind of activity which is not applicable to you. It's more applicable to those who are finishing their projects. They're doing the projects of their end of kind of studies. If their projects is involving the use of ceramic materials and maybe something for this year, you can submit your project is qualified as well, because we're part of this network for a competition that is also about the use of ceramics in architecture. That's also in July, and those are the juries for this. And just the third activity, which is part of what we're having today, is a movability of kind of knowledge, right? So every year we will have Hispalyt have lecturers who are practicing architects that work with ceramic materials as well in their projects. And what Hispalyt does is that they match these professionals with schools of architecture and design so that they can come and tell us about their project. And then you can learn about the material that they are using, about the detailing of it, about the overall philosophy of design, of course. Okay, so with all this, I mean, I will go very quickly with this year. By the way, Camila was from the last year consortium of architects that gave talks into universities, and we used this for her to present the work of her practice as well for students last year. Estudio DIIR, you go with us, and that's basically it. If you need to know any more kind of thoughts about the competitions or the talks or anything else, you can reach out to me, and I will let you know about this, okay, in detail. We need to move on to the. We'll take questions about this later, okay? So we need to move on to the lecture. Estudio DIIR.
Okay. Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, first of all, to praise the work that Foro Cerámico does, okay? Because it's really important that they are merging and they're bringing manufacturers into the university so that you get to know them, and getting to know the industry is quite important as well. And joining forces with all of these people that are trying to promote innovation as well, and which is important to know because without manufacturers we wouldn't be able to build. So it's nice to have that collaboration with the industry, okay? And then second, I would like to present DIIR. I'm really happy to have you here. I know Íñigo from very long time ago because we studied together at university. Okay, I have to say, in my generation, there was a lot of talented people, and many people are now doing things.
I'm sorry.
Some generation.
Again, take care with the ageism, okay?
No. I was just saying that my generation, I mean, probably we all have that feeling, no? That all of you have a great esteem of your mates, no? So
So young people talking about young things, you know. It's always the same.
Some generational
young people,
flexing.
and more especially.
What is it called? Millennials or something?
Yeah, I
These
think
guys,
one
you know.
of them. Yes. So we were a really good team, working all together, learning from each other, you know. And I'm super proud to see how one of those groups that merged very naturally, from group works at uni, from doing competitions like this one, where you find that you can collaborate with someone, that maybe you start working at the same office and you join forces, and then these four colleagues, no, they join forces together, and I suddenly start seeing that they're winning competitions, that they're doing super well in practice. Okay, so take it as a reference, also as a reference of what you can do when you finish university. Okay, and also the good quality of what they do. Okay, so I hope you enjoy, and thank you, Íñigo, for coming to IE today.
Today I'm going to talk about the studio in general terms, and then focusing on this Foro Cerámico topic. I'm going to show you also some projects that has to do with the construction with bricks and ceramics. Well, first of all, I always want to present our practice by explaining who we are and how we work and how is our working method, and things that I think are important for you as young architects to understand. Also, we focus a lot on business and management, so this is something that I think it's also important to know when you begin a practice. And in our case, we spend a lot of time understanding how is the business, how we can apply these ideas to the projects. So as you can see here in this index, I'm going to talk about these 4 blocks. The last one will be these 5 projects that we have made using bricks. Different typologies, different scales, different programs, but same style in the these 5 different projects. To start with our practice, our studio, as Sarah was saying, we are 4 architects from Polytechnic University of Madrid. We know each other in the studying there in the university. And then we had different experience and background in different university all over the world. And then in the final year of the university, we got together and we start doing these first competitions. Then we finish our degree and we start working for different companies. And at the same time, we start trying to understand how we can do something cool apart from other jobs, and that's when we start participating in this kind of public competition. The thing was that the first one that we did together, I don't know how, but we won a big competition near here in the north of Madrid, a cultural center that we are right now building 7 years later, but was the perfect way to start doing this adventure and getting more and more projects from that beginning. So in general terms, we start these 4 partners. Right now we are 13 people in the office. We are 11 architects. Then we have an office manager, and then we have an art director that is working on communication things. I will talk about this organization of the team later, but well, it's good to understand how we get from these 4 partners to something that more strong and more collective. It's also important for you to understand how we work in terms of like ideas or concept or pillars, as I say here. This is mainly our philosophy. It is built by these 4 pillars that we understand. They explain our practice in a precise way. The first one is rigor. For us, rigor has to do with this attention to detail that for us are very important in order to not only creating ideas and concepts, but also to control the construction of our projects. For us, you're going to see that the 4 pillars are at the same time opposite, but I think they explain in a good way how we try to understand architecture. This first one is the opposite in many cases to sensitivity, because the first one is talking about something very precise, and the sensitivity has more to do with this like poetry or something more abstract that for us has to do with materials, this selection of colors, texture, materials, in order to have unique atmospheres and spaces that attract to people and clients. Then another 2 important concepts or topics for us. One of them is timelessness. That has to do a lot with the way we understand architecture away from trends or fashion or something that is more related to using like a powerful color or this kind of graphic resources that for us are not the perfect way to guide the project. For us, it's important to understand that our spaces has to be more calm, relaxed, and in order to live today but last, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years. But at the same time, we talk about resonance that has more to do with this wow effect that we want to create and show to our clients and, of course, to the people that interact with the space. Those 4 pillars for us are important to. It's difficult in some cases, like try to explain your architecture in 4 ideas, but for us it's important when we work for a project and when we go back to something that we did like 4 or 5 years ago and try to understand if that project has to do or not with these main ideas that I think they define in a good way our practice. Then another important thing for us, as I told you in the beginning, has to do with this management or business model that I know you here in this university is also important to learn. And of course, when you are like building a company, it's something that has to be very organized in order to, well, first of all, to have work and at the same time to organize many projects as in our case that we are trying to have projects in different phases. And for us, it's important to know how phases can be overlapped and can be in different stages. So we, in the last years, we understood that the project more or less needs to have these 4 blocks or 4 sections or 4 phases. The first one, another important thing I'm going to explain to you right now is the 4 partners are divided also in these 4 phases. So each of us is like, we could say, like specialized in each of these steps. This is a nice thing because we don't divide projects, we divide tasks in every project. So each of us have what is responsible of this part, and at the end the four of us participate in the project, and this is something beautiful in the way we understand this collaborative idea of working. The first one has to do with the strategy. It's something not very common because it doesn't have to be with with architecture. It's more related to understanding the needs of the client. When we work, for example, with brands, we work a lot with brands. Has to do with this idea. You're going to see here with this idea of understanding the identity of the brand, their manifesto, their website, the social media. So it's an important phase in the process, because you have to. These are some of the brands we work for. You have to understand what they are thinking about, because at the same time they're, in this case, is focusing on fashion and has nothing to do with architecture. But you have to understand these abstract or conceptual ideas in order to translate this into something more physical, like material, texture, or even storytelling. That is something that we do a lot in this phase. We try to create this kind of narrative or storytelling in order to start the second phase that has more to do with the concept. Here, more or less, we have an idea of how we want to approach the project, but it's here when we start like thinking about space, about atmosphere, about geometries, about colors, and it's a very I would say like concept design phase. We work a lot with, of course, diagrams, plans, action, but at the same time we try to make these 3D models in order to have like I would say realistic views, but at the same time work views of how is the project. This grid is related to some commercial projects that we work for or that we are right now working. So for us, these kind of renderings or infographic things are important in order to understand by ourselves how it's going to be the space. But at the same time, it's very useful to for the client to see how are we focusing on the creation of the space. Then once this idea is more or less made or designed, we go through the third phase that has to do with technique. This is a very technical phase and construction phase that is, for us, is very important. In university, we did a very precise learning about construction, and for us, it's important not to stay only in this design concept part, but at the same time trying to do this real. So for us, having this kind of control over detail, over material, over these technical things of the project is very important in order to go to the last phase that has to do with practice. This is construction works. One of my partners is in charge of this phase, and what he normally does is to stay. What he normally does is to stay in every work construction works of each of the projects, controlling and supervising everything to ensure that the project is going to be as we predicted in the first three phases. So as I said before, one important thing once we understand these four phases is to understand how we organize teams in order to have control over these four parts. As you can see here, each of the partners are focused on one of these phases, and at the same time, the people that is working in the studio is giving help in each of these phases. In my phase, I'm working, of course, with our director in order to create communication, but also to create a good presentation that has to do with the needs of the client. And at the same time, we're working on the idea in terms of storytelling, of course, in terms of inspiration, reference, ideas, and that's the important part to go. Then we are overlapping. I'm working also in the second phase with my partner Ricardo. That has more to do with this, as I told you, this concept design part. Working also with those three guys. Then we go to the technical department, as you can see here, and probably the most difficult part of the process, because it's well, and the longer one, because you have to do many plans, technical plans, in order to have this control over the project, and then finally overlapping also technical with construction. My partner David is in charge of this also very important phase. So once you more or less understand how we work, who we are, the other important thing has to do with these action lines. For us, as important as key part of the business model is to understand what kind of projects or what kind of programs you should focus on. In architecture is like something like you can be deeper as you want. So it's important to understand how you can approach of each of these action lines, and we decided to focus on these four. Then when explaining the 5 projects, I choose one of each of these typologies, but it's important first of all to, in our case, to see how this scale can vary, can be different from one to the other. But in general terms, we have this institutional action line or section that has to do with the public competition we did at the beginning of our practice, and the ones that we are right now building like 6 or 7 years later. Here you're going to see some of the projects like in a very easy way, just with one image. But you can see here some of this public competition project that we did at our beginning. You can see here libraries, cultural center, hospital. These first 3 are the ones we won, and the ones we are right now working on. The first one is one of the projects that I'm going to explain you in a longer way. And then, of course, I choose just 8 projects, but we have a lot of public competition. For us, was important at the beginning when we didn't have work to do, like to start doing something. So for us was an important way to start working, the 4 of us, and understanding how we can approach architecture in a special term. So you can see here primary schools, museums, universities, or of course housing units. Then another important action line right now in the studio, I would say that 50% of the projects are related to residential. Well, it's something that we love to do, because it's very different to the one that I'm going to show you right now, the commercial part, but at the same time it's similar in terms of concept, ideas. Well, we are very focused on this kind of renovation housing in Madrid, but then we try to also to do some collective housing projects. So it's something very big and with many opportunities in different terms. Here you can see some of these refurbishment, or renovation projects, like those ones. In many of them, you're going to see a similar scale from, we'll say, 100 square meters to 500. The biggest one, like for example, Casa SEO, But at the same time, you're going to see similar style, similar idea of architecture using this kind of materials, wood, stone, ceramics, and a very clean palette of materials in order to have this relaxed and calm atmosphere that define our work. Those are some of them. I chose this 12, but of course we in the last, I will say, 4 or 5 years we have lucky enough to work in different kind of housing projects. And then those two that has to do with commercial projects, but we try to divide because in some cases are different, but at the same time they share same ideas. You are working with a brand, and you have to work on the identity of this brand in order to translate this philosophy to a physical space. So in this case are more or less the same. And when we talk about retail, we talk about fashion brands, and when we talk about hospitality, has more to do with restaurants, cafeterias, bars, and this kind of projects. Probably is the action line where we are. I would say we have more experience. From 2021, I would say we did the first project, Pau and Diplomatic, and then we work with many brands in different concepts, spaces, ideas. So it's something we love, and of course we are right now. I would say if I say residential for us is 50%, this will be like 40%, and 10% it's institutional. So here you're going to see many projects, I don't know, 12, 16, I don't know, different brands, a different identity, a different concept of how we understand spaces, like Scarpes, Armed Angels, Casa Musica. The good thing also about these projects is you have a lot of freedom in terms of design. You work for a residential project, of course you have to understand the needs of the client, and you have to be like very responsible in order to give them like the perfect result. In those cases, brands are always trying to do something, like creating this wow effect that was important for us at the beginning. So you have freedom to use like weird materials or different kind of strange geometries in order to, like, for example, in this one, well, in order to have this, creating this attraction to the client that is entering the space. So you can see here, like, many different brands and many different projects. So once we have more or less understood what is DIIR and what is behind us, this has to do more with the 5 projects related to this ceramics and brick material that are, of course, related to Foro Cerámico. Here, what I brought today are those 5 projects. As you can see, I try to relate each of them with the action line I explained to you, like right now. The first one is this what we call Biblioteca. It's a library in the north of Madrid. That of course has to do with the institutional program. Then we have Casa SEO, that has to do with residential. Then Espacio DIIR is our own workplace. It's something in between office and retail because, well, of course it's an office, but at the same time it's an street level. So we always understand our working place as a store or something that has to relate to the street. And then we have 2 different hospitality projects. The first one, Casa Neutrale, is a cafeteria, and Tonton is a restaurant. In those 5 projects, we use brick in different formats, in different colors, in different ways of understanding how we can apply this unit, this piece, like not only as a construction element, but also as aesthetics or something that can build the space by itself. The first one is well, I would say a big building. It's not a big building, but for us it's a different scale from the ones that you're going to see right now. It's a library that has like an initial briefing that has to do. It's an old building. You can see here in the white one, and that at the beginning was a school, and then the city hall decided to change this program to something more cultural, related to the city, well, to this small like neighborhood, and the first there are like 5 different buildings in this complex, and they decided to do each of them give them a different use. The biggest one that is the one that we are right now working on is transforming into a cultural center, and then the second one is this one. They decided to change program from the it was like the dorms of the teachers in the past, and right now it's a library. And then the second challenge they had is to create this. I would say this. They have like stairs in the outside and in front of the building, and we decided to create this volume at the back of the building in order to have in this volume the stairs and also the elevator. It was very radical at the beginning because they didn't understand why we use this strange geometry, but of course we have an idea of creating something very with the importance, giving importance to geometry, and that's why we understand this shape, as you can see in the first one, and also in this one, and also in this one, in the different position, how we can adapt to our building, but at the same time create this kind of tension with the other building, with the other residential building that you can see in the other side. It's a very simple project, but at the same time it's like very sculptoric in terms of how we work with geometry. As you can see here in this drawing, we create these 6 folds. In the middle we have the entrance to the elevator, and in the other 4 you are connecting with the stairs. So we use this like circular geometry in order to have an access from here and ending this path to here to get into the first floor. As I said, you can see it's very simple, but at the same time we use this brick to create. Of course, here the budget was very low, so we decided to work with brick not only as a construction element that, of course, works perfect for this reason, but at the same time because we want to show the brick in its essence. Here you can see the plan is we also do the interiors, but this piece was the main element of the project. Then in the interior, you can see here is a very simple project with this kind of wood in this. Well, this important part of the project was this corridor that enters to different rooms of the plan, of the layout, and then we focus on creating this wood wall in order also to give importance to the access of each of these rooms. Then we use colors in different parts, like for example, in the part where it's connected to the stairs in order to also to create this attention to this welcoming place, and then also to do some kind of important rooms like this private room that is related to the like the big square that is in front. And another nice thing of this project was the ceiling. We discovered what was behind the false ceiling, and we tried to incorporate in the project. Then another project where we use bricks in like not as a structural part, as you can see in the library. Here is more decorative, but at the same time is an important part of the project because it's like building the shape of every strategic decision that we made here in this housing project. You can see the plan is divided in 3 different parts, into 3 different like blocks. And what we did here was using bricks as a basement. You can see here how we use brick to create like a perimeter or a line, not only in those bands, but also in those ones, in order to create these stripes and connected them to create this open space, as you can see in the picture, to connect, for example, in this case, the kitchen with the living room. Then when you go to the first floor, this idea of creating 3 different parts of or lines of use, it's also conceived as in the main idea of the project, and then in the second floor, the one that is in the top, we try to do the same, but here the screen is really small. But you can see here how this white brick is always in every big picture, because it's like colonizing the interiors in order to create this kind of hierarchy or order between rooms. Well, of course, another important thing, as said before, is use of materials in a very honest way. You can see here stainless steel creating this wow effect stairs that is in the middle of the hall. And then again, you can see here this big like equipment walls where the bricks is used to create the perimeter, also to create this basement, where then we place in these cases this storage thing made out of wood. At the same time, we can see how the spaces are always connected. On the one hand, we have a difference between the living room and the kitchen, for example, but at the same time, they are connected visually, so it's important to understand in that way. Then, of course, the brick, using the same idea, we try to also incorporate in other elements, for example, in the kitchen. So you can see how the brick is having like a key role in the understanding of this home. Or even here, when we start to create these connections between rooms, the brick is always in the perimeter, and we also use another kind of material, like for example here the travertine stone, to also to emphasize this big empty space that connects always the different rooms of the project. Or even here you can see how it's use bricks as a basement, where also can be used for a seat or for placing books or lighting or whatever. Or in this picture you can see the big idea of the project, like how this basement is interrupted by this square view in order to have this idea of connecting spaces, but at the same time dividing into different rooms. Or if we go through the detail, you can see here how we pay attention to this way of placing bricks in a vertical position, but always feeling like the same rhythm. Then another important project for us was our main place. We're working here from 2024. We are right now like 1 year and a half using this space, and here we use the same brick as in the previous housing project, but not understanding the brick as a hierarchical part of the project, but in a way that is more related to volumes or geometric pieces in the middle of the space. This is like our welcoming hall. Here, as a brick is not as important as in the previous one. I'm also explain you some important parts of the project also to understand how we apply materials. In this case, it's like a big table, cantilever table, 6 meter long. That is like a big piece of aluminum placed in this granite stone. As you can see in the picture, is in the front of the space, and then the rest of the space here is like this multi-purpose space that we use for everything, like events, activities, lectures. Then we have these 12 places for the team, and then we have a kitchen and a small meeting room with the toilets in the middle. You can see here how these different walls or even this big block, everything is made out of brick. This is like the last part of the space, and then the rest is just open space where we use like different ideas or graphic resources in order to understand this space as a showroom. This is important also for us, not only as a workplace, but at the same time as a place where we can explain to our clients how we work in terms of material and of course space. Here in those pictures you can see how we use again the bricks. In that cases we are not only creating a perimeter, but at the same time to create this kind of big walls to separate the private space from the open space that is in the middle. Or even here, how the entrance, we combine this brick also with materials, and as in this case the wood or the cellulose in the ceiling, or even micro cement or granite stone in the floor. Here in really specific detail, how it's also important. That's why we said at the beginning our last phases, and the one that has to do with the construction work, is important to pay attention of this kind of ideas of controlling everything in order to create like a perfect wall, having this kind of very organized images. And then another wall, you can see again the brick here, like construction this table, it's a kitchen, and then how we mix these things with other more sophisticated materials like stainless steel or aluminum, and at the same time how we incorporate the lighting system or the decorative elements that give this I would say like warm atmosphere to the space. If we go deeper into the construction details, this is probably the most difficult and challenging part of the project. This 6 meter long table. You can see here how we build this thing. Is big structure in the floor. Of course, you can see it, and then we have like 2 big pillars that are supporting this big table. And then at the end of the table, like a cable, reducing the momentum. I don't know to say in English. And like creating this like a skiing system in order to have this like longitudinal table that is creating this wow effect, as you can see here. How we don't have any support at the end of this aluminium table. You can see also here in this picture. That is probably the more understandable one. Then another project, this was right now it's very small compared to the others, but at that time, 2021, was a very important project for us because it was the beginning of this action line that has to do with commercial, and it was a cafeteria in the center of Madrid. As I said, it's a very small project, but paying a lot of attention in also in details and in materials and how we like join everything to have this Mediterranean style that the client was very focusing. And what we did here, you can see in the plan, is a very simple plan. We use materials, bricks in these three elements. This one was a bench that is connecting the space to, you can see in the image, how it's connecting this bench, the street with the interior space. Then we have this one that is also creating a big bench that is used for sitting. And then we have an important element in the space is this, you can see it here, where we place plants. It's something that you have to go through it like a circular path. You use the kitchen and the bar that is also made in brick. And we always, in this kind of project, talks about user experience. So we need to create this kind of path or route in the design, and that's why we use these important volumes in order to create like in a rectangular space, like different areas in order to have different programs at the same time. Here again, we use these warm materials, as for example, brick or wood, with other more cold or sophisticated, like the granite stone or the aluminum. Here you can see this picture is talking about the principal bar, how we use brick in different like levels. This is the big piece in the middle of the space, and then we have the bar that is it's like a key place in this space, and also all this wall, and of course in the kitchen we use brick, but understanding brick as not as something like a unique piece, but also as a cladding that is used for kitchens. Here you can see how the bench and also this piece is creating all the space, and of course this elevation of the space is the first thing you see when you enter this cafeteria. Or here, again, we try to pay attention to detail. We create this like this whole bench in the same ceramic piece. This is the opposite view from the back of the space to the street, and how these three different, well, I would say four, bar, two bench, and the piece in the middle are creating everything by using this brick material. Even going through the detail, how we pay attention to this again, to this like control, like links between different material, this painting with the brick, and trying to understand always how is the complete atmosphere, and only focusing on a small detail. And then finally, the last one, it's a restaurant also in Madrid. It's 300 square meters. It's like much more bigger than the one the cafeteria, but at the same time has a lot of things in common because we use bricks also to create this kind of volumes of furniture of pieces that helps us to understand the space. This is like an old building made out of wood, as you can see there, and also original brick. And the strategy here was to understand this pre-existing building or space and try to create. It was very beautiful, the Spain by itself. So we need to understand how to apply like a very logical strategy, but by not fighting with what we understand was very important in this space. So the thing here was to use just one piece of a brick. This one, this is not common brick because it's like this long. And with this piece, we start creating walls, creating also benches as in this image, and organizing the space in order to have this plan. In this plan, you can see this is the big space you saw in the previous image. This is the hall, the welcoming hall. And here, as you can see on those lines, we try to using these bricks, like creating different atmosphere, like furniture things. This one that is also dividing this part from the other, and also this more private room that also has like a kind of these brick elements that are helping us to separate these different programs. Here and here also we design the bars also in bricks in order to have like a common thread. And you can see in every picture how we try to respect the original space, this old brick, and how we create this relation between the old and the new. And also in terms of wood, this is the original wood. This is the wood we use. That's very similar color. And always trying to create this link between elements, and of course, this is a space with no natural light. We also focus a lot in creating a lighting system that gives this warm tone because it's a restaurant focused on nights. So it was also important, and of course, using this kind of floor or ceiling in a dark color, and of course, also these tables also in dark wood, or even the curtains, in order to create this more private atmosphere that is related to what the client is offering here in this restaurant. You can see in this picture how the brick is again some key role, protagonist of the space. And even in the here you can see also the principal, the welcoming hall, where we also use same brick but in the floor. We change here. You can see the material here is dark. It is white, but the image, the atmosphere is even the same. Or here in the entrance, you can see this dark wood that is related to the wood we found at the beginning, and also how we applied it to make this kind of furniture or even the painting in the walls. And again, in the last picture, as I explained in the previous project, how we try to understand these pieces, these particular pieces of bricks, and understanding them in in like in 3D, not even in plan, but also how you can see how the bar and the bench can like join in order to control again this attention to detail. And well, this is our the 5 projects that I explained. Well, I hope you like it.
Thank you very much for the talk. I'll open it directly to questions.
Yeah, for sure.
Here we go. So, you want to turn on the light?
We're lucky enough to have a little bit of time, 10 minutes, okay, to have a little conversation. So, any questions you want to ask Íñigo? Okay, while you think. Okay,
Do you think working with, I assume the 3 other co-founders are your pretty close friends, considering you went to uni with them, has that made your experience better working with people that are close to you?
Yeah, in some cases it's important, but I think at the same time it's risky because they are your friends. And one of the important things we focused on was to create this working method in order to be in charge of each of the phases and not trying to do the same work again and again. Because at the beginning, when we did this public competition, we had the same background, so we're always fighting because you want to do something, the other want to do another thing. But right now we are more like splitting in different parts. So I'm in charge of something that, of course, my partner can say, you can do this in a different way, but I'm the responsible of doing this. So it's good to be friends, but at the same time, it's good to understand how each of us can give their best in each part of the process. Yeah.
I have 2. First of all, so you first did competitions together and then started the firm together?
Yeah, we found well, the beginning we did competition, and then when we won the first one was something that came like the same. We were like, we have to do that. That was difficult. I would say that's why we start doing public competition. At the beginning, we just have 1, then we have 2, but you don't have portfolio enough to show to clients in order to have, I don't know, housing projects or commercial projects. So what we did in that time was every single opportunity we had, we. More or less. This is something difficult because public competition has nothing to do with these small projects, but at the same time, it's good for you to start like building a brand and like paying attention to other kind of project. Like I was saying, our first like fashion store was a very small project, but I remember was what we had this public competition and this project, so we gave our best to do this first project. Like this was the last.
Each of you do something very specific, right?
Yeah.
Like how that happened? Like how did you split the work, and is it like, don't you like miss the other part?
Yeah, it's a tricky part, and it was difficult at the beginning, but it's very organic. I would say that each of us will have our interests, and I don't know. For example, in my case, I love this like a strategic part that has to do more with brand and with business management and model and how to understand clients, and of course my partner who is in charge of construction work is very focused on detail. Of course, I like construction works. I like drawing details, but I don't know. It's something that came like as it was, and and right now we are happy to do it in that
So
way.
communicating with
It's like fifth question. That's the last one. Okay.
communicating with clients is mostly like your job, right?
Well, of course, communicating, but at the same time creating the first ideas. I participate in an architectural part, but like in a very like inspiration part.
Trigger.
Yeah. Yes.
But who else want to? Okay, I will. You and then Sujan. Yeah.
And if you were to advise us, like, what would you advise us we do after we graduate? Like, get into competitions or work in a firm to get experience or
I'm
both?
gonna try public competition always. For example, these competitions are for the ones that are like thinking this thing for students are like good practice in order to then when you finish to at least understand how is a public competition. The everything you have to read that is a lot, like the technical part, like everything, and then of course it's something you can try and see if you are lucky or not, but at least try. If you have projects by, I don't know, from your family or friends or something, of course do it, but if you don't have nothing, I would say this is a good way. Right.
Yeah.
Start working with these known brands like in retail.
It's something you work for one of them, you did more or less okay, so you have relation with this in for example in fashion, many brands are connected because when I had different projects. For example, MS Studio is as a young brand. They know their competitors, so they are always talking. And I don't know, it's easy once you are in this sector to move from one to another. And I don't know, it's something but also very organic. And of course, you have to do the first one in a good way in order to also to give importance to press and social media and all this thing. And I don't know, like creating a space in this world.
Any more questions? Yes.
About your first project being a big success, my question is kind of the opposite. What was the first project that you really liked was a failure, and what did you learn from that?
Well, and in terms of public competition, there were a lot that we consider the best project, but then you don't get even like an honorable mention or something. A lot. And then others, for example, I didn't talk about a hospital that we are doing right now. It was like a smart project because we organized everything, but at the same time was like no, like nothing in terms of design that we were like considering this like special. And then other like museums or these kind of more attractive projects where we did like this kind of renderings that you consider are the best, but then you didn't get anything. So in that case, a lot with content.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if you design any part of the furniture, because you have like these beautiful compositions of all the elements, colors.
Well, in terms of, for example, this one, we try to do this by ourselves. If you understand this as furniture, in other projects, we normally don't design furniture, but we try to select these pieces and show to the client in order to have this control over the space. Sometimes it's difficult to create something and then the client use a table that has nothing to do with your style, and that's why we try at this design process to also to include furniture in order to have like a general view of everything.
Like there's some brands that have a very strong identity. I don't know, I guess this is your part of the job. Like, do they give you a lot of constraints of what they want?
It depends. In some cases, yes, but normally if they are trusting your work, they try to give you freedom. Of course, the process is difficult because you have to understand more or less
their identity, and you have to respect many of these principal like topics or ideas. But at the same time, they are trying to do something different. And for example, in the case of Scalpers, I didn't show you, but it's a strong brand that has their image and everything. But they start like a different process in order to give the woman part and another idea of design. So in that case, it was a long, very long process. We did many trials and many different combination of materials, but we felt from the beginning that we have a lot of freedom. So that's an important thing, and we want the client to understand that, because if they are giving you a project and you have to do as they normally do, our work is not it's useless.
Well, it was super nice to hear the presentation, especially knowing you from the very beginning. Some of you asked like at the beginning or think it looks so easy, no, to do this, but I can imagine how hard it must have been to study this from the beginning. I remember when you were starting with competitions, and more precisely when I think you were second for the MUPAC, no,
Yes.
for the Santander competition. Imagine that you finish university, you team up with your friends, and suddenly you're second in a competition where all of your teachers enter the competition. So basically, you understand that if you wanna be someone, you have to win your teachers, no? And a couple of years after you finish your studies, no? So that's the moment when I think it was okay. Okay, these people are playing hard. They're gonna make it, no? Because that was kind of a moment when I mean, then all the retail came along, but winning those first competitions, I think it's quite challenging as a fresh starting team, no? So congrats for that. I only have to say that I think your office is too small, so I hope you're now. I hope there are empty locations around so that you can keep on expanding, because it looks like you have a system where you're comfortable and quite sustainable. So it looks like you're going to keep on expanding. So good luck with that. Let's see where it gets.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll see you next week. If you have any questions, ask it to your professor. And leave me alone. Leave me go back home.
Yeah, actually, but take another bus when we maybe it's quite